Us. President Lazarus Chakwera is set to take over the chairmanship of the Southern African Development Community (SADC) with opportunities and challenges in sight. The president highlighted some of these as he addressed a press briefing at Kamuzu International Airport in Lilongwe on Thursday on his arrival from Mozambique, where he attended the 40th SADC Extraordinary Summit. He was welcomed by Vice President Saulos Chilima, among others. Matthews Kasanda has a report.
The Malawi leader says the country will have an opportunity to strengthen its relationship with other countries. Chakwera says Malawi will have a voice on policies affecting Malawians in different countries. Nevertheless, he hopes that the position gives the nation a chance to strengthen its trade with other nations within the region. He says the country will also use the opportunity to further its mining efforts. Chakwera says despite the opportunity, he has also learned that the position comes with a responsibility. He says it is a huge responsibility to lead the 16 countries under SADC. During the press conference, Minister of Foreign Affairs Edson Hoamkaka read a SADC communique highlighting a number of agreements by the SADC leaders. Among others, SADC has agreed to enhance research in pharmaceuticals, including the development of vaccines, including COVID-19 vaccine.
Summit endorsed the recommendations of the report of the chairperson of the Organ on Politics, Defense and Security Cooperation and approved the mandate for the SADC Standby Force mission to the Republic of Mozambique to be deployed in support of Mozambique to combat terrorism and acts of violent extremism in Cabo Delgado.
Malawi will host the 41st SADC Summit in August this year, when Chakwera will also be taking over the chairmanship of the SADC, which is now being held by his Mozambican counterpart, Philip Nyusi.
The Lilongwe Chief Resident Magistrate Court has adjourned hearing in the case involving former Malawi Energy Regulatory Authority MERA CEO Collins Magalasi and businesswoman Dorothy Shonga to 14th July. The two are answering fraud and money laundering charges in relation to about 107 million kwacha funds. Blessings in Pinganjira with the full story.
One of the defense lawyer, Ephraim Chukwakwa, pleaded with Chief Resident Magistrate Patrick Chilwa to adjourn the case on grounds that one of the lead defense lawyers, Ande Kaonga, is sick.
So Ande Kaonga is not feeling well. So on this basis, I just came here to ask for an adjournment, and it has been granted to allow counsel to recover, and then the case will resume.
Director of Public Prosecution Steve Kayuni said the state is ready with the witnesses to conclude the matter and they will wait as per the court order.
The counsel for the first application, Mr. Magalasi, gave a brief to another lawyer that is seeking adjournment for the fact that he is unwell.
The former MERA CEO Collins Magalasi, alongside 3 others, are accused of dubiously awarding 107 million kwacha contract to Vinx Enterprise, a firm owned by Shonga.
Malawian children living with HIV are still receiving the old regimen of antiretroviral drugs 2 years after the introduction of the new regimen. Most African countries already switched after the World Health Organization approved the new drugs. Sam Kalimira with the details.
National AIDS Commission HIV and Prevention Officer Francis Mabedi confirmed the development but quickly said the new drug will roll out by the end of this year. Mabedi said the delay is because the government was in the process of scrutinizing the policies and guidelines before it is adopted.
All health-related implementation of activities depends on the policies and guidelines that we normally adopt from the World Health Organization. Now, once those policies and the guidelines are actually presented to our Ministry of Health, they have also to undergo scrutiny, and once they are adopted is when we see that the interventions are safe, is when we give out to the population of Malawi. That's what has attributed to the little delay. But soon, as you have said, we'll start administering well.
The country has over 1 million people who are on ART, including children. National AIDS Commission Planning Officer Mwiza Tindwa said the country has registered a decrease in new HIV infection, as it is estimated that in 2020 the country recorded about 19,000 cases from about 33,000 in 2019. Tindwa said National AIDS Commission foresees that if several interventions on prevention measures are implemented, the country would register around 11,000 new cases in 2025.
Enhancing the various combination prevention initiatives, and on the part of treatment, ensuring that we're able to initiate as many people as we can on ART, and for those that are lost to follow up, let's try and bring them back on ART treatment.
The country has also registered a decline in AIDS-related deaths from around 13,000 in 2019 to around 10,000 in 2020.
Government is scheduled to start distributing goats as part of the Affordable Input Program. Ministry of Agriculture spokesperson Gresham Lungu has confirmed the goats will be distributed in areas where fertilizers and seeds are not effectively working. Some farmers, especially those from Chikwawa ADD, have complained they have not been benefiting from the program, calling on government to consider giving them livestock instead, preferably goats. Jameson Chauluka has more in this report.
Lungu says the program starts with 30,000 farmers, and they will be using the amounts the government tops up on farmers' packages to buy the goats. He said preparations for this year's AIP, including procurement of goats, are at an advanced stage.
We have been working out on the diversification in terms of the way how we have been now. We will be implementing the Affordable Input Program. We have been receiving calls from different stakeholders to make sure that we diversify. At the same time, also, we consider areas where the farming is not being beneficial, especially the areas where they are mostly hit by some calamities, like we talk of dry spells, even the issues of the fall armyworms. So with this, we have been getting some comments from other quarters saying, no, it's better now we venture into diversification of the program.
The Affordable Input Program has been for a long time faced with criticism for its blanket approach, saying same types of seeds and fertilizers have been distributed irrespective of various soil types and climates. Agriculture expert Tamani Mvula welcomed the move, saying AIP diversification should extend further to other areas.
Diversifying the products or the inputs that are there in the subsidy program is a very good idea, because over the years we have seen that we have been having a blanket kind of recommendations where even in areas where maize is not the main food crop, people have been given fertilizer for maize, but also seed for maize. But there are areas like, for example, the lake shore, they will need something like cassava. If you go to the north, you may need maybe rice and all those things.
AIP replaced the Farm Input Subsidy Program last year.
Government has challenged players in the higher education sector to adopt a curriculum which can produce graduates capable of creating jobs for the country. Deputy Minister of Education Madalitso Kambauwa Wilima made the remarks on Thursday in Mangochi when she opened the second International Annual General Meeting for Universities and Colleges Association of Malawi, UCAM, held under the theme Higher Education in the 21st Century. Johannes Simon has this report read by Elita Soko.
Chilima says Malawi is lagging behind in terms of innovations because a lot of students who graduate from the universities locally are instilled with the idea of seeking and not creating jobs. She says institutions of higher learning in the country should find ways of changing their curriculum to make them more relevant and able to provide solutions for the challenges which Malawi is currently facing.
I'm satisfied, I'm happy that the private universities are making great strides in actually delivering the education in their various institutions. A lot of them, as you are aware, are now accredited by the National Council for Higher Education, which is a regulator in that respect. So if most of these are actually accredited now, it means they are meeting the standards that the Ministry of Education are happy with, that the standards that we want. So I would say yes, the ministry is happy, and we are here to support them because they complement delivery of education in this country, just like the public universities do.
She further says her ministry is in the process of eradicating system barriers which are currently limiting more Malawians from accessing tertiary education. Chilima commended the private universities for complementing government's efforts in making sure that Malawians are accessing tertiary education. In her remarks, chairperson for UCAM, Professor Sharon Pittman, says Malawi's higher education delivery can improve if experts in the sector start working together. Pittman says tertiary education in Malawi is expensive for ordinary Malawians, such that there is need for public and private institutions to find ways of working together to make learning more affordable. She, however, expresses satisfaction that the number of students in the country's universities has recently been on the rise.
What we need is an organization where it's not one column of private and one column of public, but where we're all working together to synergize. We have limited higher education resources in Malawi, so if we'll partner, if we'll work together, we know the quality of our product will be much better for the people of Malawi. And the competition is a wonderful factor to keep the rates of tuition at a reasonable rate for those that feel marginalized from higher education to actually access higher education.
She further advised universities to pull together resources when conducting research as a way of raising funds for their respective sustainability.
A consortium of civil society organizations on education says community day secondary schools CDSS are considered graveyards for dull students because they lack ownership and are underfunded. This was disclosed during a secondary education learning conference in Lilongwe. More in this report by Kumbo Kaliwo, but read in our studios by Matthews Kasanda.
The consortium includes Creative Center for Community Mobilization, Education Expertise Development Foundation, and Educans. Speaking during the conference, Educans Country Director Limbani Sapato said community day secondary schools are a major source of secondary education in the country, but they have no resources for their operations.
They cover the most marginalized, the needy, and the vulnerable. So we thought that it was important for us to intervene in an area that is disadvantaged in order to ensure that education is inclusive and equitable, covering even the marginalized living in rural societies.
Deputy Minister of Education Madaitso Chilima says the government is trying hard to improve the learning environment in the country.
We are also working to make sure that most of the teachers that maybe don't have the qualifications that enable them to teach fully in the CDSs are capacitated so that they actually do provide the quality of education that these learners in the CDSs require.
Chilima, however, says the government is working with its partners to help improve access to primary and secondary education, which is in line with education for all and sustainable development goals.
You're watching news at 8 on Times Television, TTV, Times 360 Malawi Facebook page. We'll be back after this short break.
there's one thing that all soaps do, it's wash. From buckets to basins, bathrooms to streams, and everything in between.
All soaps wash.
Yes, but Protex is different. Its reinvented formula with flaxseed oil boosts your skin's natural anti-germ defenses by 10 times more, protecting you against 99.9% of germs. So what keeps us healthy?
Protex!
Good health starts here.
Nalero, Gulaniko mayunits have phone Mosavuta. Dial star 24/7 hash to top up your airtime.
Standard Bank. It can be.
The summer of soccer is here, and becoming the Premier Bet Soccer Hero is all about making the right selections. It's time to trust your natural instincts, to believe in yourself, be brave. Because there's the Premier Bet jackpot of $100,000 for the taking. So never give up. Bet now and receive up to a 250% win bonus. Premier Bet Soccer Hero. It's all in the selections.
Welcome back. You're watching news at 8 on Times Television, TTV, and Times 360 Malawi Facebook page. Minister of Education Agnes Nyalonje has acknowledged in Parliament that the tendency by teachers of refusing to work in rural areas is affecting the quality of education in the country. She, however, says the ministry is addressing the challenge. Audrey Kapalamula has filed this report.
Nyalonje says authorities are considering having the hardship allowance attached to the schools rather than to teachers. She says such would ensure that the funds are managed properly even when the teacher moves out of the area. She also says the government is working towards improving the teaching environment by, among others, planning to construct good teachers' houses. The issue came to light when Member of Parliament for Salima North, Yonaka Pantengo, expressed concern with the tendency of some teachers who refuse to work in rural areas. He said this is a challenge that needs to be addressed. Executive Director for Civil Society Education Coalition, Benedicto Kondowe, supports the plan of attaching allowances to the schools. Kondowe, however, says the call to improve the teaching environment is long overdue. Teachers Union of Malawi General Secretary Charles Kunchinga says they will await for official communication on the matter.
Malawi will receive 200,000 doses of AstraZeneca vaccine early next month, Minister of Health Kumbize Kandodo Chiponda has said. Kandodo Chiponda was speaking on Thursday at Nchewu District Hospital when Malawi Health Equity Network MEHIN donated COVID-19 personal protective equipment PPEs to the government through the Ministry of Health. Imam Wali has filed this report read by Wezi Gawusi.
She says her ministry was exploring avenues to ensure that by the first week of July, Malawians should start receiving COVID-19 vaccination to prevent the spread of the pandemic.
We had expected a consignment of about 900,000 from COVAX, which they had promised to send to us in June. But because of the situation in India, because of the COVID, they had to go slow on the production. So we are busy talking to our bilateral partners, and they have assured us that indeed they're going to spare some for us.
Malawi Health Equity Network MEHIN board member Fred Mwantengere said the organization was geared to help the government in preventing the spread of COVID-19 pandemic.
We want to support the Malawi government in preventing COVID-19 and creating awareness among the people of Malawi, so that they are able to adhere or comply with all the COVID-19 prevention measures that the government of Malawi has instituted.
Nchau District Director of Health and Social Services, Stephen Macheso, says the district hospital has started receiving new COVID-19 cases. As of Wednesday, the country had registered 4 new deaths and 119 new cases.
Provision of dental services at Mzuzu Central Hospital are expected to improve after Norfolk Schools in Malawi made a donation of 14 chairs worth over 30 million kwacha. The hospital had only 2 functional chairs which patients with teeth problems were using when being treated. Norfolk Schools in Malawi President John Tika explains why they made the donation.
We are a school to start with, but we also are people that are concerned about the country of Malawi, not just in education, but in every totality that we can help. And being put in a position where we can help and the opportunities that are afforded to us, we believe that it's a good thing to do, not just looking at the mental and education side, but looking at the health and another way that we can help in Malawi. We looked at opportunities that are around Blantyre, where we're located as of now, and felt that there are very few opportunities that are presented in the northern region. And we started looking at places that we could work with, and identified Mzuzu Hospital because they don't have a lot of equipment when it comes to dental chairs and dental equipment.
Receiving the items, one of the dental clinicians at the hospital, Bwanankuzi Banda, said the chairs will improve service delivery at the facility.
On behalf of the hospital the hospital director, I would like to thank the Norfolk Malawi for this donation. The donation of fairly used dental chairs will help us a lot, because we have been having problems with our dental equipment, and with the coming in of Norfolk Malawi, most of our problems will be solved, and we'll be treating our patients without much problems. It was a big problem because for a dental patient to be treated normally, you need to have a fully functional dental equipment.
The Malawi Congress Party maintains it is working hard with the alliance partners to improve the country's infrastructure development. The party's national campaign director, Moses Kunkuyu, said this when he launched upgrading works on Matope Road at Mdeka, Blantyre on Wednesday. Kunkuyu used the occasion to woo votes for the party's candidate in the Chikwembere ward by-election, Wyson Makongwa. Luwele Nimpasa has more in this report, read by Elvis Hua.
Kunkuyu says the government, through the ministry responsible, is committed to commissioning new road constructions, upgrading, rehabilitating old and maintaining existing ones. He affirms that the government will continue making strides in prioritizing infrastructures that adversely affect the livelihoods of people. Kunkuyu also used the occasion to ask the people of the area to vote for MCP Chikwembere Ward Shadow Councillor Wyson Makongwa in the coming by-election.
The people of this area in Blantyre North Chikwembere Ward have been crying for this road, the Matope Road, to be upgraded, and it has taken a while they've been crying for that. The chiefs in this area have been crying for that. This is a very important road. The people of this area know the importance of this road, and many of the activities that require transportation, like the hauling of their farm produce as well as other items of their commercial lives, they use this road quite a lot. So they've been crying for that, and there have been lies peddled on this road, some money being embezzled. And when our shadow councillor for this area, Mr. Wyson Makongwa, approached government to say, can this work be done? Government, through the responsible ministry, thought it wise to come in and assist, not because someone is standing as a candidate in the area, but because government understands the importance of this road.
Traditional Authority Jigalu thanked the government for the rehabilitation of the road, which he says will provide a safer, affordable, accessible transport system across all modes.
This road will help the community here in ferrying their commodities to town. We thank the government for this.
Waisoni Makungwa, as Shadow Ward Councillor to represent MCP in the by-election, said if voted into power, he will work tirelessly to serve the people of the area. Malawi Electoral Commission MEC has announced that it will conduct a by-election in Chikwembere Ward in Blantyre on 29th June.
And that item concludes the news for now, but before we go, the headlines again. President Lazarus Chakwera has opportunities and challenges in sight as he gets set to take over the chairmanship of the Zodiak. Court adjourns case involving former Mayor boss Collins Magalasi and his business partner Dorothy Shonga. And Malawian children living with HIV are still receiving the old regimen of antiretroviral drugs. Remember, you can get more on these and other stories by visiting our website www.times.mw, liking our Facebook page Times 360 Malawi, and following us on Twitter at Times 360 Malawi. Remember to wash your hands regularly, observe social and physical distance, and mask up. Please stay safe. You've been with me, Wanderer Msisia. Continue watching the rest of the programs right here on Times Television, TTV, and goodbye.